Hi, Alan Stratton from As Wood Turns. After the Utah Woodturning Symposium, I like to do as many of those projects as I can to incorporate the skills and the projects into my own repertoire. This one I've adapted from Linda Ferber, where she takes a branch and turns it. I found some hazelnut limbs in my back that hadn't been cleaned up yet from the winter pruning, and I'm turning this little pendant for my wife and on a jewelry chain. The process for this is not difficult if you look back to my wooden chuck jaws a while back, because I reversed her process and put it into the chuck jaws first at a tilt to do the inner part, and then once that's done I took it out and put it between centers as a spindle to turn a natural edge pendant. Now the feedback from my wife is she prefers it 2/3 size, but it's a good start. So let's make this natural edge hazelnut necklace pendant.
A while ago, I made wood chuck jaws to help make scoops. I'll use those again now for my pendant because the jaws are taller and can more easily hold the branch between the jaws than standard metal jaws. In retrospect, however, I should have rotated the branch yet another 45 degrees and held it between two diagonally opposite jaws. It would have been a stronger hold. I want the branch not to be level in the chuck. I do want it tilted by 15 to 20 degrees to give an angle to the button I'm cutting. It'll be a little more interesting. Now with a small gouge, I'm carefully cutting the button. The button is essentially a groove on the face of the limb. The cut has many of the risks and characteristics of natural edge and eccentric turnings. Fortunately, it's not very deep. I tried to sand it, but had a rough time doing anything in this small space. Chalk another one up to sharp tools. Now I'm removing the chuck. I'll mount the wood next between centers. However, I'm not centering the wood between the drive center and the live center. Instead, I'm offsetting the wood to its outer axis. Initially, my idea was to have a flatter back to the brooch. That didn't work. Now I want to position the wood so that the button has a natural bark edge around the button. The bark border needs to be the same on both sides and the bottom. Now it's like an off-axis turning, cutting a lot of air as the wood whips around. Here, the more RPMs, the better. Now I'm using a small spindle gouge for wood removal and a skew for smoothing cuts. I'm stopping frequently to assess shape and see how well the button is being framed by the natural edge bark. It's easier to stop and assess progress than try to put shavings back on the wood. It's a matter of checking progress little by little to avoid cutting off too much in the wrong places. Sanding and off-axis turning is tough. I can sand the ends with the lathe running, they're round. The rest I'm sanding with the lathe off. Since the spindle is small, it's not hard sanding. A little more trimming to the spindle ends and I'll call it good. I can sand the ends of the spindle off lathe. Then a little shellac, some buffing, and I can mount it to a necklace chain. It's fun to try what I've seen and use my previous jigs in different ways. Credit goes to Linda Ferber for inspiration. It's another great technique for my skill set. Next time, for my wife, I'll pick a smaller limb, but I think I'll need to make some smaller tools first. We'll see you again next week. Please leave your comments. And if you can find it, please click the like button. And if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to both my website and this YouTube channel. Always wear your full face shield. Goggles are not enough. This is Alan Stratton from As Wood Turns.